Hello everyone. Hello. Welcome back to this workshop right here. This is the voice workshop where you can learn how to feminize your voice or how to make it sound more masculine or maybe androgynous. Perhaps your goals are more and go beyond the binary. My name is Savvy, and today I hope to teach you some of those techniques and methods to make your voice more like what you want it to be. So, without further ado, let me talk a little bit about voice, but more specifically about vocal hygiene and vocal health. For some of you that might be new here, I have to make that statement, and it's really important. When we work with voice, we work with a part of our body, yes, but this part of the body is a bit more fickle and finicky to work with. Most importantly, this will come down to hydration. Of course, you might already know about this. You have to drink water to live, and your vocal folds need even more of that water to function. That is because when you produce voice, your vocal folds open and close sometimes several of hundred times per second, so you have to keep them hydrated. And so certain medications such as spironolactone for hormonal treatments for HRT are known to be dehydrating to the body. Of course, just like with any medication, don't stop taking it. There's a reason for why you have this medication, right? So at the end of the day, just make sure to, drink that water, but try to avoid practicing right after taking that medication. For example, what you can be doing, if you don't already do that, is take that medication in the evening. If you have some counterindication to that, of course, follow whatever your doctor might recommend, regardless of the medication, because I did mention Spiro, but there are other medications such as hay fever medication. Just be sure not to take the medication and work in the same hour of you taking it, because that will make it a bit more difficult for you to use your voice. That being said, you will also find that smoking, drinking coffee or alcohol, these substances are known to dehydrate the body, not just the voice, but the body all together. So be sure that if you have a morning coffee, you wait at least a good hour and drink water accordingly to palliate for that lack of hydration. With that being said, just take care of your voice. At the end of the day, body autonomy reigns supreme, whatever substances, medication you might take. This is just my 2 cents and, more so like good advice on how you can best use your voice and best avoid practicing your voice when it's dehydrated. Okay, with that being said, there's also vocal warm-ups. These are also very important when it comes to voice work. Namely, if you use your voice, you have to know that it's also partially muscle. And just like any muscle, you're not going to just get into voice practice without warming up. So, there's some warm-up exercises that we'll be doing right after I present a little bit more how voice functions and the model we use to describe it. But we'll be seeing that together. We'll see some of these exercises that we can do, and I hope you do them alongside me. Now, with that being said, let's talk about what a voice is. Rather, here we have what I call the power source filter model. I'm not the only one to call it the power source filter model, of course, but it's one way that we can describe the voice very simply in those 3 main categories broken down. So when you use your voice, what do you exactly do? Well, you push air from your lungs, and that air will move up the trachea, which is this tube here, and it will then reach this part here, which we call the larynx. If you use your hand and put it on your neck, you can feel a little bump on your neck. That bump is the larynx, or rather it's the cartilage part of it. And behind that bump on your neck, you will find the vocal folds, those that vibrate, open and close very quickly. And when they vibrate, thanks to the air that we've given them, once they vibrate, they create what we call a source sound. You might also call this pitch, right? So all the pitches we do when we sing or even when we speak are happening here thanks to the vibration, opening and closing of the vocal folds. And as they create that sound, it's a generally unfiltered sound. It sounds kind of like a really buzzy sound. It gets filtered in all of this space, which is why it doesn't sound like Of course, you can't really hear voice, unless you want to rip off the larynx out of your throat. You can't really ever hear source unfiltered. But the filter is what makes up our voices. When you say different vowels, so if you say a, e, o, u, you change basically the tongue position and the lip shape and position. And those two changing create the vowel profile that we know and use to create words and understand words when we speak. But it doesn't stop there. That filter can do a lot more. I did mention that there is the oral space, but you also have the nasal cavity, and you have the pharynx, which is the tube at the back of your mouth and of your nose, which goes down to the larynx. This is where the magic happens. If you modify your filter space, not specifically by, playing with the nasal space or the oral space, but rather by moving how high or how low your larynx is. And by moving the height of your larynx, you achieve a bigger vocal tract or a smaller vocal tract. And by modifying the filter, we will be able to create a wide variety of voices, ranging from really feminine voices to
really masculine voices,
thanks to using the filter. But that is not all. Of course, I aim not to put you into one or the other box. You don't have to sound hyper-fem and super high-pitched and all that good stuff to be feminine and have a feminine voice. And similarly,
you don't need to have like a super masc voice to, sound masculine.
What I want to do here is rather put the finger on what we're trying to modify or what we're trying to mimic. In the case of voice masculinization, we're going to try and mimic the effects of testosterone in the voice. And for trans femmes, we're going to want, or femme voice users, we're going to want to revert the effects of testosterone. So what does testosterone actually do in our voices? Well, just like for the PSF model, the power source filter model that we saw just before, we're going to want to modify three things in our voices, or at least be aware of those three parameters that will make up our voice. So imagine I'm a teenager, whatever. I have like a fairly childish voice, and then testosterone hits me. First thing that happens is that my vocal tract is going to get a lot larger. The testosterone will make my
larynx drop, right? So then I have this really hollow, cavernous sound. It sounds very dark. Now it sounds a bit silly because my vocal folds are still vibrating really fast. The second thing that testosterone does to my voice is it makes the vocal folds longer, and thus they have an easier time vibrating at lower pitches. And now we're already mostly in the masculine voice. But there is a third component that I haven't touched upon, and that is vocal fold mass. Just like with anything else in the human body when exposed to testosterone, voice also has a muscle component. And by gaining more testosterone and having it affect your voice more and more, you achieve a much thicker voice, right? Compare like this really thick masc voice to a really thin and gentle masc voice.
It's not necessary to be on the extremes of those things, of course, to be masc or femme, of course, but these are the three main pillars that we want to be paying attention to when it comes to there we go. When it comes to making our voices more feminine or more masculine. So from the top, again, if you want to masculinize your voice, you want to
drop your larynx to achieve a bigger space. Go from a high pitch to a low pitch. And if you maybe can force a little bit on the voice slightly, you can get more vocal fold mass. But we'll
be talking about some of those techniques later. And if you want to do a femme voice, well, you can reverse all of these things. I'm a testosterone-affected person. So I've had all of these things happen to me during my teenage years, and I can reverse engineer it. So can you. For masc voice users, it might be a bit more difficult because, of course, without testosterone, it's going to be more difficult because for us trans femmes, it's kind of a poison. It masculinizes our voice forcefully, but in a different way, like there's no limit that prevents us to go to a femme voice, whereas masc voice users, you might go lower in pitch, you might have a darker, bigger vocal tract, but you might be limited. Of course, with practice, there's a lot that you can do. So we'll talk about these things, and we will be able to see where we go from here. I am tired today. So, without any further ado, I did say before that I want to do some vocal warm-ups. And so let's get started. You can unmute your mics for this, by the way. So I'm going to go first, do a warm-up, and then you can try and mimic after me. So I go first. Ooh. And you can try this in 3, 2, 1. Ooh. And back down. Oh. Okay, very good. I'm going to try a different sound this time. It's going to be a Z sound, as in the word zoo. I go first. And you can try this in 3, 2, 1. And back down. All right, very good. Nice. So these exercises are called softies or SOVTEs. It's a very complex word just to say that these serve to create a counter pressure to our lungs, right? Because if we go back to the other slide, I did mention that our voice is produced thanks to the air that comes from below. If you do the warm-ups with an O sound, your lips are in the way, like in an O shape. Oh, they're restricting the airflow a little bit, increasing the pressure here. It's even more true for the Z sound, zzz, or if you put like your lips in the way and do like a bubbling sound, brrr, a lip trill. All of these sounds can create a pressure here and counteract the pressure that's otherwise really strong in our lungs. And this allows for the vocal folds to vibrate with less pressure. That was an extremely speedrun version of the explanation of softies, or you can just call them vocal warm-ups, really, if you're not familiar with the term. But these are really important, and you want to at least do 1 or 2 minutes of those at the start of your day or before any training session of your voice. All right, well then, what is the next part of this workshop? Well, for those who have not been here already, I generally take up on stage 2 people who want to make their voices sound more masculine and 2 people who want to make their voices sound more feminine. If you're interested, you can raise your hand, jump in place, or use the hand emoji. And I'll be starting today with masc voice users. If you want to make your voice more masculine, raise your hand, jump in place, or use the hand emoji. All right. Nid Gitsum, have you already been on stage before? Nope. All right, come up on stage. Come on, come on. All right, come on. On the side here. Big applause to Nid Gitsum. Or it's Githim. I'm not sure how to pronounce your name. I'm very sorry.
You could just say Nid.
All right. Okay, I was looking for this. Okay, we got... We're a little bit late, so I'm going to start. I'm going to have 7 minutes starting from now. Let's go. So, hi, Nid. First time in one of these workshops?
Well, I caught the tail end of the last one.
That's okay. So, having caught the tail end, you have been here at the start, so you have been able to hear a little bit about the methodology, or rather, the things we want to modify. So, what exactly are we looking to do with voice? You want to make your voice sound more masculine. So your starting point is, it's not like, your starting point is like not here, of course, but let's pretend it's here. You're going to want to do 3 things, namely, ow,
Drop your Adam's apple to get a much darker sound. Drop your pitch so you get a lower pitch. And if you can, reinforce your voice a little bit by increasing the effective vocal fold mass.
AKA you're kind of clenching the muscle a bit more. Not specifically making it more tense. Well, sort of. There is no zero tension when it comes to voice. There is some tension because that's how muscles are supposed to function. But we don't want to dive so far that we end up having a hyper-tensed voice. So let's see what your voice is made of. First of all, I want you to change your voice settings if you haven't already. So please go into the quick menu and under microphone, make sure that noise suppression is turned off and that the mic activation threshold is all the way down to 0%.
Let me do that real quick.
All right.
Yep.
All right. Perfect. Awesome. I hear everything. So let's get started.
Yeah.
It's okay. There's no worries. I want you to give me a slide from your highest pitch.
Oh, to your lowest pitch.
Give it a try.
All right.
That was an E3. Pretty good, pretty solid. Now, if I ask you to speak with your lowest pitch right now, what would you comfortably do with your voice? Like, what pitch would you land on?
Let me try. Like, I guess this is the deepest.
I guess this is the deepest. Okay, so we're like 1 or 2 pitches away from the lowest you've done when you slid down to E3. How familiar are you with music theory?
Not at all.
Okay, so very simply put, you can see pitch as either a hertz value, so like a vibration speed of the vocal folds, or rather how many times they open or close, but that's a scientific term, and it's very difficult for me to say, hey, do 160 hertz, or do 163 hertz, very precisely. Also, our human ears are generally not super well tuned for small hertz changes, so music theory here helps us break all those hertz, all of these vibration speeds, into coherent and easy to refer to notes. So music theory breaks it down into 12 pitches in a scale of 8 main pitches, if you will. And so we chose to start on C because that's just the normal convention, I suppose. So it goes something like C, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, and then C again, and then keep going, C, D, E, F, G, and it goes like this up to infinity. And so we just have from C to C, going through the letters. I know at some point it goes like C, D, E, F, G, and then back to A, which I know can feel weird when you're new to music. I know some other music theory notations tend to say instead do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, chi, do, but most English speakers will use C, D, E, F, G, B, C. So these are the pitches that I will be using. I do recommend that you, if you want to get into voice practice and into practicing your voice to become more masculine, that you give a bit of focus to pitch as a thing, and just treat music theory as a tool for you to measure your voice rather than like something that you need to know everything about, right? It's just a way for us to communicate more easily. So for example, if you give me a pitch, like just any pitch, like so you gave which is a G sharp 3, so it's slightly above a G. And if I do something like that's an F3, and that is below the G sharp 3. Anyways, you were able to reach down to E3, and I don't know why I didn't show you this before, but this can help you visualize a little bit what I mean by the octaves. So an octave, 8 pitches, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. I wasn't on pitch, by the way. And then you have like those small black notes here, which are in between. So C, C sharp, D, D sharp, E, and so on and so forth. So yeah, you were speaking around here, so F sharp 3, but your lowest pitch was an E3. I'm sure with some practice we can maybe reach even lower pitches. But pitch is not the only thing that we want to focus on. Of course, brightness, or rather in your case, darkness is what we want to achieve. This is just a perceptual term I'm using. Brightness, darkness. In theory, we're talking about like formants, but that's a bit too advanced and complicated for like this quick session we have. So let me give you the tools directly. We'll be using whispers. Can you say pat that cat on a whisper? Like pat that cat.
Pat that cat.
Very good. As you listen to your voice, pat that cat, you notice that that whisper is really bright. It's what you would expect out of a feminine voice. Pat that cat. But you can make that whisper go a lot darker. Okay? So let's try this. Pat, 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 pat that Give it a try.
I will say this is already something I have practiced. So,
Okay, very good. I only understood that you caught the tail end from the last one, so I wanted to be sure you had that.
outside of lessons.
Oh, okay, really? Okay, that's good. So, if you've already practiced that, can you do it? Very
Like
good.
that?
Okay. Yes. I do have one nitpick over it, however. You go from an ah sound, pat that cat, pa pa pa. But as you go darker, pa 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 po
yeah.
po po. You say po at the end, as if you would say pot dot coats, right? So it means that
Yeah.
you're relying on a tongue shape shift and a lip shape shift to achieve a darker sound. Whilst it does sound darker, and it does make your voice darker overall, you kind of want to avoid doing that because you want to get most of the darkness from your Adam's apple dropping, from your larynx dropping lower, so that then your lips and tongue are undisturbed and you can say ah, e, o, u, or rather in masc voice, ah, e, o, u, have different shapes without, ah, like shooting back up to a brighter sound, which you're trying to avoid for masculinization. So let's try this again. Pat that cat. Pa 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 pa. Pat that cat. That one was really good. Awesome. And then from here, I want you to bridge it into your lowest pitch. Da 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 da. I think F3 should be fine enough. Try to mimic after me. Ah. A little bit lower. Very good. Hold that pitch here. Okay, we shall back to G3, but that's okay. Okay, I want you to do that pitch again. Okay, we're shooting up to G sharp 3, so we keep going up, right? So it's gonna take a bit of practice to get used to like using those lower pitches. But let's try the bridge from a whisper to a pitch, okay? So when you have a whisper, the vocal folds are open, right? When you speak, the vocal folds are opening and closing really quickly, but in a whisper, they don't close at all. Pat that cat, right? We want to slowly close the vocal folds, yes, from the whisper towards a breathy sound, towards a full sound. And it should sound something like this. Pa 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 pa. Pa. Pat that cat. Give it a try.
Yeah.
Find the dark whisper first. Pat.
Yeah.
Pat. Pat. Pat.
Sorry,
Take your
kind of
time.
forgot. Anyway, yeah.
It's okay. Okay, that's interesting. You did. So you actually managed to get like a darker sound like this. But then very quickly after, your Adam's apple went back up. And your pitch went up as well, right?
I think I just got confused for a second.
It's a lot of things to juggle with, right? You want to pay attention both to your pitch and to your brightness or darkness, right? You can produce a high pitch and make it sound really bright, but that same pitch can be produced with a much bigger vocal tract, right? So it's that shift in clarity, or rather in brightness, that you have to listen for. But yeah. So, okay. You've already practiced the whisper exercise, which is very good. You're able to go quite dark, but careful not to transform a pat into a pot. If you want to brighten your O or all sounds in a pot, then you start pot, 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 right? We're trying to remove as many variables as possible so that you can really work from one bright sound to a dark sound. You can do this with Pete, for example. Pete, 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 Pete. Right? You can do this with a pool, like a swimming pool. Pool, 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 pool. Right? So you can brighten your vowels, or rather darken them, however you see fit. But yeah, that's pretty much the advice I have to you. Have for you. You actually managed to close the vocal folds really well, but there is kind of like your voice kind of shoots back up and reverts to its older behavior, which is a brighter voice. So what you can also do is use your hand in real life and put it on your neck and feel for the Adam's apple. Don't press down on it. Don't hold it in place. It should only serve you to like notice if it moves up or down. Can you give this a try? Put your hand on your neck. Can you feel the bump there?
Yes.
Awesome. Give me a really bright pat that cat. Pat that cat. All right, now give me a really dark one. Pat that cat.
Pat cat.
Awesome. Did it move down?
Yes.
All right, now keeping your hand on there, keep it down. Pat that cat. And then close the vocal folds from there. Pat that cat. Okay, good. Did you feel it go back up here?
Not sure.
Give it another try. Pat that cat. That one was good. That was really dark, right? If you speak with it, can you say like, hello, how are you?
Hello, how are you?
Ah, did you notice this now? Hello, how are you? Right? You went brighter at the end, but you had the whole word sound really masked there. Hello, how? Right? So your voice is still a bit soft and it's a bit too high in pitch. It's a G sharp 3. And I know you can go down to E3. Right now you did, hello, how are you at this pitch? But you could go all the way down to here with practice. And that was without you practicing your voice in regards to pitch so far. So what tells you that those aren't available with enough practice and dedication? All right, I wish I could give you more time, but our time has been over for a little bit. Here are my tools, and I hope they can help you in your voice practice. Just remember, you can use your hand to monitor if your Adam's apple shoots back up. If not, you can keep the same really monotonous pitch. And if you hear a variation in the monotonous pitch, then you know that variation can't be the pitch, and it has to be the brightness or darkness, aka your Adam's apple moving up or down. Okay?
Yes, thank you very much.
You're very welcome, Nid. All right, everyone give a big round of applause to Nid. Yay! All right, so next up, we'll be having... Okay, yes, next up we'll be having fem voice. If you want to make your voice more feminine, raise your hand, jump in place, or use the hand emoji. All right, no fem voice users. Vandervel, have you already been on stage before?
I've never actually been on stage before.
All right,
no.
then come up on stage. Come on, come on, come on. Everyone give a big round of applause to Vandervel. All right.
Hi, everyone.
Hello, hello. All right, we got 7 minutes starting now. Hello, Vandervel. What an avatar. It's quite crazy.
Thank you.
So welcome here. Is this the first time you've been to a workshop at all, or you've been around before?
This is probably the 5th time.
In a row? Okay. Maybe not in a row, but okay. So you've been around, you know a bit of the theory, the methodology, and I won't lie to you, your voice already sounds plenty femme. So how about you tell me a bit what your voice journey was like, what your own practice looks like, and what areas of practice would you like to work on today?
So I am self-taught, so I don't know a lot of the basics of voice training. So my training is mostly just talking continuously using my fem voice wherever I can. Usually in the evenings. That being said, I find that my voice is actually not quite powerful enough, in the sense that other people find it quiet. And in most IRL situations, most people can hear me if I don't speak up very loudly, at least from my own perspective.
Okay, so when it comes to loudness, we aren't, or rather, we are, because we have testosterone that has affected our voices. I don't know, it depends on the people, right? You can have, testosterone affect your body, but it might not affect your voice at all. In your case, I don't know what your starting voice sounded like, but it could be anywhere from,
I don't know, like a voice like this or a voice like that.
I don't know if you feel comfortable sharing. You don't need to if you don't want to.
Sure.
Okay, go for it.
This is my starting voice. This is where I started from.
This is where I started from. Okay, so your masc voice, maybe you have habitualized your fem voice a little bit to sound softer, but your masc voice doesn't sound extremely, I'm not going to say extremely masc, but just, it does sound very soft.
Like, it's quite a soft voice. It's like not a really loud, heavy voice, right?
Most masc voices you will tend to hear are much louder, right? Because they employ a lot more vocal weight in their voices. So when I say weight, we're not creating more mass or more weight from out of nowhere. We're just flexing more or less the muscles present in our vocal folds. And in the case of masc voices,
this is very present.
In the case of fem voices, it tends not to be as much present because heavy fem voices tend to border very quickly into buzzy territory, like this one that I'm doing here. And this can sound a bit more cartoonish. So, is it partially cultural expectations? Is it partially biology? I think it's a bit of both, but you can push your voice to sound louder without having to go for a much heavier sound. So how do we achieve this exactly? We have to understand what loudness is. Loudness is, it's how loud the volume is, it's how easily you will be perceived. And this is not exactly the same for every single pitch. We have a tendency with our human ears, because we have ears, I know, crazy, right? But these ears act as microphones, and they're not flat response microphones. So that means like lower pitches you will hear much less loud, but higher pitches you will tend to hear them sound much louder, right? So in regards to being louder with a fem voice, especially when out and about, you might notice that most people, if not all people, tend to raise their pitch to be louder. That is also true for masc voices. You will be hard pressed to find a masc voice user that's like,
I'm like low in pitch and I'm like, I want to be louder. I'm not going to be staying at the same pitch. Hey, like, pass me the salt.
Even that masc voice will tend to be
starting down here and then be like, hey, pass me the salt.
Even that masc voice will go up in pitch. That is also true for fem voice, like if you're in a really loud restaurant, hey, pass me the salt. Hey, pass me the salt. Thank you, right? So you might want to raise your pitch a little bit, because that's the easiest way for you to be noticed while staying in a very fem voice. Although maybe you might be scared of higher pitches, but if that is the case, we can go over this and see how we can make it part of your range. But you can make your, I guess, not normal voice, but like your average pitch level a little bit louder without having to be too thick. So how do we achieve this? We're going to play a bit around with vocal fold closure. So this is what the vocal folds would look like if we put a camera down your throat. Very pretty, right? So anyways, those vocal folds here in white, open and close several hundred times per second. To give you an example, at this pitch, it's a B3, it's 245 hertz. So the vocal folds open and close and open and close and open and close 245 times per second. Pretty fast, right? If I do like a pitch that's much higher in pitch, like like an A4 here, that's 430 times, so almost, not 100 times faster, but like almost twice as fast, right? So you can see how higher pitches tend to have more energy to them, right? Because they are a faster vibration and they're easier for us to hear. So higher pitches are the first go-to. But what if I'm like, I started like a really quiet femme voice, and I'm like, how do I make my voice sound louder without making it sound thicker, right? Well, you can play with the closure gradient and the balance that it has with the airflow. Remember, when you use your voice, you push air from your lungs up your neck, and then the vocal folds start to vibrate. So it depends on how well you manage the airflow and how much airflow you provide. So there's two answers to an increased airflow. My voice gets breathy. I increase the air, but I didn't increase the closure. I didn't try to close the vocal folds more. So, right? As a result, the vocal folds are pushed out of the way and air can escape through them and we get a breathy sound. That's not what we want. The other option is to get louder, but also get thicker. And that is because I have achieved, I have managed to use that airflow, that greater airflow, but instead I've clenched the vocal folds. I have used more of the vocal fold mass. I've made the vocal folds thicker and right? They manage that airflow, but the voice sounds thicker. The other response is like so, from to right? And there's no perceptual like weight change. There might be a little bit of weight, but it's not as bad as a right? So how do we do this? Well, you can try and tiptoe between breathy and balanced, and then try to slowly build up your airflow. So let's give this a try. I want you to give me a very gentle Very good. All right. Your mic is quite loud too, so do you have like some kind of compressor on it, or is it just like loud?
It's just loud.
Okay, good. Okay, so we already know that your mic is loud, so this might get louder. So we have here, now you want to try this. Go from an to project your voice more by pushing more air. Give it a try. All right, very good. Let's try a sentence with this. All right, so try a really soft and gentle. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Okay, hello, good morning. And now, hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Very good. And can we go even louder? Hello, good morning. Too, like, hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
All right, that's very good. Does that feel louder than what your voice usually goes at? Or would you say it's still like on average of what you usually experiment with?
This is definitely a lot louder than I usually go for.
All right, that's very good. And here you went from hello, good morning to hello, good morning to hello, good morning without ever doing hello, 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 good morning, right? So you make good use of your vocal folds, not thickening them. So that's very good. You're pretty much a natural at this. So I guess problems somewhat solved, but you might be in more louder environments. Perhaps the pitch alone will not cut it. I mean, after all, what if you're surrounded by men that just have
Like the boomiest, heaviest of voices, and you're like,
hello, good morning,
but like they speak like that.
so you're not being heard. So you might want to be louder. So perhaps higher pitches are a solution to your problem. But other than that, I'm hard-pressed to find any issues with your voice. If you came here for a review of your voice, I think it's very much well there. It's very good. Impressive what you've been able to do without extensive vocal technique. Perhaps you've dabbled with voice acting and singing before? I don't know.
I dabble with voice acting, but not on any kind of professional level. And
That's okay.
dabble in singing much.
Okay. Well, Steve, prior experience, whether it's music, voice acting, singing, or anything like making funny funny sounds of your mouth, like, right? It kind of grants you a slightly earlier connection to your voice. So you're not starting with nothing. You start with quite a lot. So yeah, that's very good. Vendal, I don't have much more advice for you other than the one to kind of try and build up your loudness. We didn't even need to go out and do the this exercise is we push air, and I expected that you kind of would go breathy, but you didn't. You directly went for more air and adapted your vocal folds around that increase of air. But that's maybe an exercise you can try and play around with. And this can allow you to reach in louder and louder voices. So with the height here, I'm representing how much air you're pushing, and here I'm representing the closure of the vocal folds. So yeah, you could try that exercise. Start quiet. Push more air. If you hear that your voice didn't go breathy, then you did it fine. What if you did this, however? If you went breathy, then you might want to close the vocal folds again. You can close the vocal folds by tapping them, like and using that little tap to find again that closure. Or you could try and go towards creak, which is like that sound where the vocal folds are completely closed and kind of bubble air through them. Right? This can be a very good sound to experiment with proper closure. But yeah, that's pretty much it then, Davil. I hope that this advice helped you and helps you on the long run. And yeah, I'll be seeing you around in other workshops.
All right. Yeah.
You're very welcome. Give a round of applause to Vendavil. Where am I in real life? Ooh, yes. Okay, very good. So let's go for the next person, which will be again masc voice. So who wants to make their voices sound more masculine? Jump in place, raise your hand, or use the hand emoji. I'm seeing Ethan over here, but have you already been on stage before? I can't hear you. Come closer. Oh.
No, I have not been on stage.
Well, now you are. Everyone give a big round of applause to Ethan. Welcome. Okay. So we got 7 minutes starting, and now let's go. Hello there, Ethan. First time in one of these workshops? Or you've already been around?
I have been here last Sunday.
Okay, very good. With what happened last Sunday, were you able to gather some exercises, do some work of your own? I don't want to assume what your starting level is, so how about you tell me?
I am starting around here. I have been being more hydrated because so it opens up my throat more. I have been doing some warm-ups more. Yeah.
Okay, very good.
The very start, you kind of like started here, which I like, pretty impressive. And then you like slowly like moved up, and then you talked about warm-ups, and it kind of went back to a more feminine leaning sound, or more androgynous, I would say, because like this wasn't super femme to start with. But okay, that's very good. Interesting start. Hydration, very good. Warm-ups, very good. You're on the good path to practice your voice. Do you ever practice a little bit with pitch monitors or like apps that can tell you what pitch you have and are at? This can help you kind of gauge how you're evolving with your pitches, how wide your range is.
I have not used apps like that ever, but I will be.
Okay. All right, awesome. Talking about those apps, I will just quickly show them here on board. So there's a bunch of apps here, non-sponsored, of course. Nail the Pitch, it's free on iOS. Vocal pitch monitor, it's free on Android. Singing cards, it's free, but I think you have to make an account now. There's probably like online tuners for guitars. Those also work just fine. So just go for whatever really works best for you. Personally, I use vocal pitch monitor on Android. I just find it really useful because it also has a record function, and it's really good to like record your voice, play it back, and you can see the progression of pitch over time. So it really shows you exactly what you've been doing with your voice, which I personally find very nice. But anyways, let's see where your voice is at. No, that's not the right one. Whoop, there we go. Okay, I want you to give me a read of that very first sentence here. That mad brat sat on that flat mat.
In my regular or in my mask?
What do you want to do?
I'll do my mask one.
All right, go for it.
That mad brat sat on that flat mat.
Okay, so like around here, that mad brat sat on that flat mat.
That's very good. Da, 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 da. Okay,
That mad brat sat on a flat mat. So like, it's a bit brighter than what I would expect it to be. That mad brat is sat on a flat mat, but the pitch is
impressively low. And no, I think it's more like the combination of pitch and your voice is slightly thicker. Like it's not like a that mad brat sat on that flat mat. You know, it's a bit more like a that mad brat sat on a flat mat. So I can tell there's a bit vocal mass here. It's very interesting because people usually start with
a really hollow voice and one where they struggle to like get more vocal fold mass.
and a lower pitch. But you seem to have a quite different starting point, which is very interesting. So, see, everyone, not everyone starts on the same point. You might start really high up. You might start a little bit less up. You might start a little bit lower. It really depends on the person. But that was a very good attempt. Okay, let's see how we can better that. I want you to try this again. But this time, you're going to want to try to keep it really monotonous, like a robot. Like, that mad brat sat on that flat mat.
Okay. That mad brat sat on that flat mat.
Very good. That was an F3. That mad brat sat on that flat mat. Okay, we still are quite bright. That mad brat sat on that flat mat. Not as bright. It's more like that mad brat sat on that flat mat. So we're going to try to make that a bit darker. You're familiar with the whisper exercise, yes?
Yes.
All right. So how about you give this a try, but instead of saying it on Pat that cat, you're going to say it on that mad brat. So like, that's mad brat. That's mad brat.
That's mad brat.
Give it a try.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I think your voice was a bit cut off by noise reduction here. But I hear background sound, so maybe it's not the best to disable it. I don't know. I will just trust you that you can hear it, and I think you have gone darker from the second to from the first to the second. I heard that mad brat, and then you did
That mad brat.
right. So trust your ear in that scenario here. So
That mad brat.
and then from that really dark whisper, you can put your hand on your neck, feel for the Adam's apple, find that it's lower with the
That mad brat.
okay. And once you got all of that, I want you to bridge back to that F3 pitch you did before. F3. But this time,
That mad brat.
That mad brat.
give it a try.
That mad brat.
Okay.
That mad brat.
Oh my god, you went lower. You went down to D sharp 3.
That mad brat.
That's really good. Yeah. Okay, keep it there. Try to say the sentence like that.
That mad brat sat on that flat mat.
That mad brat sat on that flat mat.
Okay, that mad brat sat on that flat mat. It kind of went brighter towards the end, like that mad brat sat on that flat mat, a little bit like that. So I feel like your Adam's apple kind of shoots back up during the as it changed. So a little bit of stability issue here, and I realized that okay, I did start the thing, but. Okay, so that mad brat sat on a flat mat. I want you to try this one again, but I want you to this time try to push more loudness for it, like,
that mad brat sat on that flat mat.
Give it a try.
Okay. That mad brat sat on that flat mat.
okay, that mad brat sat on a flat mat, but now the Adam's apple is high again, so that mad brat, if we try to go, that mad brat.
Again?
Sorry.
It's okay. Remember to just go darker. And if you have your hand on your neck, make sure that the Adam's apple doesn't move back up.
Like a, yeah.
That mad brat sat on that flat mat.
That's very good. That mad brat sat on the flat mat. That's very good. And then you can try this. That mad brat sat on that flat mat. Da 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 da.
Give it a try.
That mad brat sat on that flat mat.
Yeah, nice. That flat mat. You went down to a C3. Hello? You are. Okay. I mean, like, can you just say hello, just like how you normally say? Well, not normally, quote unquote, but like in your femme androgynous voice?
Hi.
Okay. Hi. Wow. You're like the high you did was here, okay? Like you're hi. You're like
Hi.
and you were able to go all the way down here on that last sentence. So very nice range, not gonna lie. It's pretty solid. But like C3, it's nothing to be shy of. Like this is really good for masc voice. I don't know, I guess I have to ask, have you started getting into testosterone or not at all? Like
Not at all.
okay, so you're proof that you can make your voice sound more masculine and that it's not super dependent. Well, it is dependent, like testosterone is a cheat code to masc voice, of course, in most cases. But like without T, you can go to C3. That rhymes, so it must be true. No, not like this. Without T, you can go up to be free or... It's nonsense, don't worry. But that was really impressive. Yeah, I think you're getting the hang of it. I wish that I could hear your whispers more, like kind of the bridge between the whisper towards the full voice, because I was mostly cut off by the noise suppression. But given that I heard there was a bit of background noise, I didn't want the whole world to know what happens where you live. So, but I still think you managed to pull through. That was really impressive. Yeah, all I gotta say... Yeah.
I have no noise suppression ever. I don't have it on.
Really? What?
Yeah.
Not on vrchat?
No. I have it
Really?
disabled. Yeah.
Oh no. Maybe it's your mic that has that built in? I don't know.
Maybe.
Could be. What mic are you using?
It's just like a regular headset with like a detachable mic.
Oh, okay. So if that is a regular headset, if it's like one of the well-known brands or whatever, just check that maybe they have some software that they install to make the headset function. Those tend to sometimes have built-in noise suppression, so you can check that out for your future practice. But other than that, yeah, my biggest advice for you is just keep going at it. I think you have a wonderful start. I can only imagine that you could go even lower, down to like the second octave, perhaps, if you really try hard on that. So yeah, just record your voice, listen back to it, modify it accordingly, use pitch monitoring apps to see how far down in pitch you can go. And yeah, just like that, slowly better your voice, and you'll get to your objective in no time, Ethan.
Okay, well, thank you.
Well, you're very welcome. From hi to
Hi.
all right, everyone, give a big round of applause to Ethan. Woo! All right. What was that? C3. C5. Okay. Okay, so next up, last but not least, it will be a femme voice user that I want to see up on stage who might be interested in making their voices sound more feminine. I saw you here in the back, Slipdash. You've never been on stage before, have you? Nope. All right. Come up on stage. Come on, come on, come on. Everyone give a big round of applause to Slipdash.
Hey.
All right. Hello,
it's my
welcome.
first time. I haven't really tried
Okay.
this thing before, so.
It's all right. Let's get started. The timer is going. Hello, hi, Slipdash. First time in one of these workshops or just first time on stage and you've already been here before?
I've been here. I've never been on stage before. So.
Okay. What's your experience of voice? Have you been able to practice a star of a femme voice so far, or have you tried some of the exercises we do over here? Have you had some chance modifying?
I've tried a little bit, but I haven't really really got into it at all. So.
Okay, interesting. Well, let's see together what your voice can do. Give me a slide from your
Lowest pitch
up to your highest pitch.
I go all the way to my lowest. I'm gonna go.
Oh my god.
Nice. Yeah.
Yeah. My lowest. From the depth of hell.
Okay, beautiful. All right, you have quite a so you can go up to here, no problem. You got all that range. Great, perfect. So now I want you to try and mimic my pitch right after me.
You're a bit lower than me.
Okay, try this. Very good. That pitch here is a 3. So it has very much a potential to be
Really masculine or
really feminine, depending on how you use it. So I think it's a good starting point, a good crossroads for finding a femme or a masc voice. So with that pitch, can you do it again? Yes, you got it. Commit this to muscle memory. Again, Awesome. Very good. Okay. Now, next step will be to brighten our voice. So you start with an but we want it to sound like an a softer, brighter version of it. So how do we do this? Well, we start with pat that cat. You maybe have been able to practice this a little bit. So let's try this together. Give me a really dark pat that cat, like
pat that cat. A really big, dark cat. Yeah.
Give it a try. Oh, are you perhaps getting cut off by noise suppression?
I may be. Hold on.
You may be. Okay.
See if I can change it real
Quick
quick.
sound menu, and then microphone and noise suppression. Gotta be disabled.
I usually have it up a little bit so it doesn't pick up the speaker.
Okay. That's all right.
Yeah.
No worries. All right. Let's try this again. Give me a very gentle.
Pat that cat.
I only heard cat. Am I crazy?
God.
Did you say pat that?
Probably. Yeah, hold on. Am I that? I'm turning it all the way off.
Okay. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Let's try this. Yes. Beautiful. Thank you.
Pat that cat.
And now we want to go brighter. So.
Pat, pat.
Pat, 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 cat. All right, and then from here, pat, pat. Beautiful. Now you can also use your hand in real life. Put it in your neck, and you can feel for the Adam's apple moving up as you go.
Pat, pat,
Pat, pat, pat. Very good. No need to shoot for the stars. You're scaling a bit faster than me. So if you get like only 1 or 2 or 3, and then it kind of starts to sound the same, you know, I have more granularity, so I'll have more details from one to another. You are doing more of a right? So if you feel like you're at the top, don't feel like you're like, Savvy did like 6 of them. I should do 6. No, chances are you already are at the brightest position and you don't need to push it further. I say this so that you don't end up like clenching and perhaps making your voice a little bit stressed, right? So, very gentle, very bright.
Is that good?
Very good. Yes. Now hold the ah in pat, like pat. All right. I'm not sure if it was me or you. I think it was you. It's because I hear the feedback a bit, but it's okay. Don't worry.
I did it.
Okay, awesome. You did it. Great. It sounded very similar to mine, so that's a really good sign. So, anyways, now we're going to try and go ahead and read one of these sentences. So I want you to focus first on pat that cat, on the bright whispered pat that cat. Pat that cat. And I want you to hold the ass down and we're going to bridge back to F3. So, pat that cat. Okay, from pat, so the bright pat, pat, and then you bridge from whisper to breathy to balanced voice. So, pat that cat.
Okay. Pat that cat.
Okay, you did reach F, but it was not F3.
It was F2.
So, it's okay.
Bad dad cat.
So remember, commit to muscle memory. Match my pitch here. There you go. Okay, now try this. And the other way around. Very good. Now, as you did this, you went from balanced to breathy to whisper. But you notice the whisper here is very dark. Here's what we're going to do. You do this again. Dark whisper. But you change the whisper. Pat. And then pat that cat. Right? So from the top, you start. Let's do mimicry response. Okay, now whisper. Oh, you're good. Okay, and then from here. Okay, the sound and the whisper shouldn't feel too tiring. It should feel very easy to do. Right? Try this. Very good. Don't let it drop like. Just keep it. Yeah, very good. And then. Yes, that's the right idea. Yes, and from here. Pat that cat.
Pat that cat.
Okay, that's pretty good. Pat that cat. It's definitely not as bright as a pat that cat, but at that point I feel like it's a low enough pitch, so we don't need to go extremely bright. Let's try a slightly higher pitch. Da 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 da. Match my pitch here. Ah. Okay, can you say pat that cat?
Pat that cat.
Okay, very good. And from here, can you do ah? Okay, you might have noticed that your voice actually was already bright here. Ah, it wasn't like a oh. So in theory, that pitch here with that voice was already femme. So from here again, ah, can you say that mad brat sat on that flat mat?
That mad brat sat on that flat mat.
Very good. That's all femme. Now we want to change that so it's no longer monotonous. So let's try to go down in pitch and try to keep the sound bright. So we don't want to have that mad brat
Sat on the flat mat, and we have like a really big dark sound.
but instead, that mad brat sat on that flat mat. Give that a try. That
mad brat sat on
sorry.
that flat.
higher pitch. That
That mad brat sat on that flat cat.
Okay, and then that mad brat sat. Da 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 da.
That mad brat sat.
Okay, so careful here. You did that mad brat sat, and the sat here is quite dark. Sat. So you want to take that pitch here. The pitch here is F3, the one we first brightened your voice on. And we can try this.
Sat.
Sat. Sat. Sat. Careful. You're pushing a lot of air. Sat. 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 Exactly. And then it dries your voice. Whispers are good to hear the brightness or darkness.
Sat.
Sat. But if you do too harsh of a whisper, you can dry out your voice quickly. Okay? So keep that in mind, that the whisper should stay as quiet as possible. You just use it as a way to gauge how bright or how dark you are. You could also use your hand on your neck to tell if your Adam's apple is low or high. Okay? Let's try this again. Try to push less air out. Very gentle.
Sat.
Sat. Sat. Sat. Okay, there's still a lot of air. Sat.
A lot of air.
Sat. Yeah. Think about
I get.
think about you're trying to get the same airflow as if you're trying to blow on a candle, but you're trying to on purpose not blow it off, like a very gentle airstream. Like instead of a have more of a very slow rate of air. And from here, okay, that's better, but it's a bit dark still. So sa 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 sa. Very good. And then from here, the last one was dark. Sa 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 sa. Sa. Right. So you let that last one drop. So again for the brighter one. Sa 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 sa. Too much air. Sa. Quite. Very good. And from here, sad.
Hard.
You need to start from the whisper. Yeah.
Sat.
That's very good. Sat on that flat mat.
Sat on the flat mat.
Yes, yes, yes. Very good. Let's try this now. That mad brat sat on that flat mat.
That mad brat sat on that flat cat. Mat.
That's very good. Not the right sentence, but very good. And then, that mad rat sat on that flat mat.
That mat sat on that flat mat.
That's beautiful. Awesome. Let's try this. That mad rat sat da 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 da.
That mad rat sat on that flat mat.
Close,
down.
very close. You went down on and on mat, but that was the best attempt so far. That mad rat sat on that flat mat, but the rest super good. Well intonated. It took a little bit. I think there's a few things going on in your voice that make it more difficult. First of all, the way you bridge from your whispers into your full voice. It's a bit too rushed, and I think it's mostly due to how you first set up your brightness. Right? You do sat, 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 sat. There is too much air. And the only way you can get such a loud whisper is by using the false vocal folds. I know this term doesn't make a lot of sense, but basically, when it comes to vocal fold closure, we have the true vocal folds here in white, but on the side we have the false vocal folds, which you hear in like
A grandpa voice, for example.
right? And when you do a whisper that's loud, like it's also used for metal screaming, in conjunction with a whisper or with a creak, generally creaky sounds. But that being said, you want to keep your whispers quieter. They are indeed getting brighter, but because you're making them so loud, sad, you're pushing too much stress on the vocal folds. And that's why you struggle to do the bridge, and you often get this like, and you kind of lose it. The configuration goes back to more masc voice and stuff like that. So overall, very good. Your higher pitches seem by default to already track with a brighter sound. It's mostly the lower pitches of fem voice that you want to be careful with, that you want to brighten. So definitely work on brightening pitches like F3, E3, D sharp 3 perhaps. I don't know how familiar you are with those pitches, but just like everyone else here, I do recommend getting a vocal pitch monitoring app on phone, on computer, whatever it is, and this can help you a lot with your practice. But okay, this was like your first attempt working with voice with someone before, so how did that go for you? Like, I think there was a lot of good stuff.
So it's a little nerve-wracking, but I think
Yeah, I can tell you were
good stuff
stressed.
on.
That's why I'm like, that's why I'm like, I'm like thinking like, like if there was like just the two of us, I'm sure you would have slayed the entire way through. But like, you were like, are people here? Oh no! So I won't, I won't torture you any longer. But you managed to pull through and still get a really femme quality. I mean, you will be able to hear it in the VODs, perhaps. I don't know if we record today, but I think we are. But yeah. Keep it up on the practice, and I hope to see you around in more of the more of those workshops. All right, everyone, give a big round of applause to Slip Dash. You're welcome. Woo! Well, okay, so the time is almost up. 1B, do we have any questions from the voice workshop stage in Discord? I would say there's two things you want to do. Hold pitches for a really long time. So typically vocal endurance, you will get only better with vocal stamina if you do vocal warm-ups. But I mean, not just 1 or 2 minutes, like actually dedicate 5 to 10 minutes of this, like go through every single pitch. Like you're like here, let's imagine you start from C3. I don't know if it's for voice feminization, but it doesn't really matter. For all pitches, this can be useful. So you take C3 and you're like, okay, I'm going to hold that on a softie for 5 seconds. C3 is here, okay? And you can go on like that for 5 seconds, 7 seconds, 10 seconds. not a flex, but I can go over 20 seconds. I think anyone can if they manage their airflow well. And softies are meant for, yes, vocal warm-up, but they also are here to help you build a better configuration, a better management between the airflow and the closure that you use in conjunction to the airflow you provide. And so just going for like all the pitches in your range, slowly trying to hold them for a really long time, trying to see how well you can hold them. That's a really good way to gain more vocal endurance. And then the next thing to do is just speak and use your voice a lot. I don't know if it's specific to, you said vocal folds or vocal cords, right? So you're really talking about voice production, but if it's about brightness or anything else that relates to voice, then this question I think is not relevant to that, because voice is a lot of different dimensions that you have to practice with, whether it is vocal weight or brightness or darkness or pitch or airflow versus closure. So these are a bunch of things you can do. So vocal warm-ups. The other thing you can do is there's some vocal agility exercises online. You can find someone who plays on the piano and you just have to kind of mimic those pitches. And this goes quicker and quicker, and you can work on both accuracy, speed, and endurance with those. So these are really good challenges. I think they're called vocal agility exercises on YouTube. You can maybe type vocal run on Google. You might find a few of these exercises. So yeah, these are all good things for you to practice your voice and get more endurance. Hope that answers your question. What's the next question, 1B, please? Creak is not bad at all. Creak is a sound where the vocal folds are really closed, yes, and it might sound like it's a destructive sound because it's it doesn't sound like a nice or oh. But creak is really low effort. To achieve creak, you need to have really relaxed vocal folds and really long relaxed vocal folds. So the only crackle you hear is the few bubbles of air making it through a mostly closed configuration. And so this is barely a bad sound to do. It's actually one of the least effort sounds you can do on your voice. These are actually sounds I recommend for voice recovery, so don't be afraid to use creak at all. What you want to do is, when you are on creak, it means that you have really closed vocal folds but are not providing enough air for them to produce sound. So what you might want to do is, starting from a creak, try to push more air, getting punched in the gut. If you want that analogy, it's have a lot of air come out through. You can try and it can help you kind of get started or jump starting the voice. And then you can try and hold that sound as you provide more and more air to it. And this can help you go from creaky to balanced by providing more air, because you're creaky, your vocal folds are really closed, but they lack air to vibrate in a more balanced posture. I think it's a good idea to increase the airflow very gently and very slowly, because if you do too much, you will end up breathy, and if you end up breathy, your voice might just give up, or just breathy sounds are very tiring to practice with, so you want to be careful with that. But creak, no problem with that. You should definitely explore those lower pitches. There's nothing wrong that can happen to you there. I hope that answers your question, Nid. Other questions, 1B? Okay. Yeah. Though you can't see the slides anywhere, some of them I have never even shown. I think I've not shown the nasality slide because it rarely occurs. No, the slides are not available anywhere else, but people have done screenshots of them anyway, so people have put them out in Discord, so you can look for them in there. Just type slides and you might find a bunch. But yeah, here's the monitoring app slides. I hope that helps out. And I think we're done with questions 1B. Okay. Sure, I don't want to hold you out too long. I would say go for come to the workshops. We teach everything here. But more seriously, it entirely depends on your starting point. You might have a really high voice or a really low voice. You might have a lot of testosterone that has affected your voice, or not at all. There is not one fit all exercise. Unfortunately, that's just not how it works. But there is some exercise that you can go for if you need to fix your brightness or your darkness, aka how big or how small your vocal tract is. You can practice with whispers. Remember that whispers can be very tiring to the voice, and that you always want to try and practice with a really gentle whisper. At some point, you can even move completely away from whispers. I mean, I can scale my voice in brightness without using the whispers at all. Whispers are just a tool to see how high or how low your larynx can go, how big or how small you can make your vocal tract. So it's a good exploratory exercise for starters, because that is generally the one that will do the most for feminizing your voice. I mean,
You can start down here, but if you think that only pitch matters to feminize your voice, for example, you'll quickly end up in a voice like this. And then you're like, what did I do wrong?
you know, and that's because you have not worked at all on brightness, on reducing your vocal tract size, assuming you're going for voice feminization. But yeah, it's a bit of a really big question to answer, but that's the general exercise I would most likely give. So I've been doing pat that cat a lot here. Pat that cat. Too dark for masc voice. Pat, 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 pat. Pat that cat. Once you get that whisper, whether bright or dark, you then bridge into your voice from a bright voice. For a bright voice, it's going to sound like this. Pa, 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 pa. Pat that cat, making sure the whisper doesn't drop darker again. For masc voice, it's the opposite. Pa, 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 pa.
Pat that cat.
Right? And you want to make sure that the whisper doesn't pat that cat. Oh no, it's jumped back to fem. So these are the things you want to be careful with. But yeah, that's, if there is one exercise you really should do, it's that one, to explore brightness or darkness within your voice. All right, I hope that answers the question. And we've answered a lot of Discord questions, so I'm afraid, given the time that it is, and we are well over time, I'm very sorry about this 1B. I thought it would be a bit quicker, but we are going to be wrapping it up here. I see a lot of beautiful faces here, but as you know, I'm here every Sunday, so if you had extra questions or if you wanted to get up on stage, you get another chance every Sunday. So next Sunday, I'll be around. So yeah, be sure to tune in. Okay, let me do the end of the workshop blurble. Hey, I got a Discord server. It's called Scientifically Augmented Voice. I do public lessons over there that you can also listen into. If the workshops on Sunday are not enough, I do lessons publicly. I don't announce them, so just be there or be square. But yeah, if you liked what you saw here today, or what you heard rather, and want to have perhaps a one-on-one session with me, I offer private lessons and public lessons. So if you want to know more about my pricing or scheduling, you can just hit me up in Discord at savvy_sav. So yeah, I have a Discord server. You can join it. It's very easy. Just click on my name in vrchat and my bio, and you will be able to join it, no problem whatsoever. So yeah, you can listen into the public lessons for free. You can even ask questions in chat whilst you're there. So be sure to do that. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So thank you all for showing up today. My name is Savvy. I teach voice feminization, voice masculinization. I teach voice acting, singing, and human beatboxing with sounds such as... If you want to learn any of that, I teach stuff. So yeah, I hope I'll see you all around on Sunday. Y'all have a great rest of your day. I'll see you the next Sunday. Bye, everyone. Bye-bye. All right. Thank you, 1B, for hanging out so long.